Let's watch this. Let's learn from it and see what the big N has been cooking up. Okay, looks charming, looks fun, looks beautiful. Mario Kart World!
Mario Kart World です。
English version has dub. They gave the American version a dub and the UK one a sub. I prefer the sub. Oh, really? You prefer it for the acting? I prefer the authentic artist interpretation of the sub when it comes to Nintendo Direct hardware announcements. I already read all the news articles today, so I read the fucking manga. You fucking casuals. You guys watch this shit? I read ahead. I know what's gonna happen. It would be kind of based if they included like Mushroom Taiwan or something on the map, you know? Make it a separate country. Or like Rainbow Crimea, but not part of Russia. I just think that would be cool. I wish they would take that stance.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me? Hello?
Game chat has never sounded like this in any game ever all time. This is more like someone screaming slurs at you because you hit him with a blue shell. I hope it also picks up the dog barking in the background, someone vacuuming. Every other fucking ambient noise you can, so it's constantly just waterboarding my ears.
Even from a distance.
Look at this. Jump on here.
Oh.
All right, let's keep going. It's coming.
Wait a minute.
Let's make a left right here. Let's make a left.
When it's noisy around you, your voice will still come through clearly, letting you chat
That's
with ease.
incredible.
How did you get hit by a boat?
I'm almost sad though. Like, I don't want to hear the blender or the vacuum, but I really do want to hear like the 13-year-old who's beating me. I want to hear his parents fighting. I want to hear like him being yelled at, or I want to hear that to make me feel better about losing. So I was hoping we could get that back. I mean, okay, so far pretty impressed. It just looks like it's like they seriously, I mean, they've run Switch 1 for 8 years now. They seriously looked at what people had issues with and they improved it. Wait, Nintendo FPS you can use a mouse for? No fucking way it does 4K 60. Damn, that's crazy. I would never thought they could have hit that. That does 4K 60 or 120 and 1080? Is it 120 a year? Oh, GameCube! Yeah! That's one of the best
Nintendo
intros
Switch
of all time.
Online, experience a world of white-knuckle racing at speeds over 2,000 kilometers per hour.
Wow, these are all
30
games?
machines.
Dude, I'm such a fucking unk, dude. These are games I would rent from Blockbuster. Feels like a different world. Feels like a different fucking world. I would bike to Blockbuster and rent this game. It's like I look around and the world I grew up in no longer exists. I'm like the old man from Up, and they've built a city around me, dude. It's fucking what? I'm lost.
Is that WWE 2K? It's coming to Nintendo Switch 2.
Okay.
Plus NBA 2K as well.
Dude, I'm low-key afraid to play NBA 2K. I've never played a basketball video game, but now I'm obsessed with basketball, and I wonder if I would end up being like a fucking 2K streamer. James Bond, I'm stoked for that James Bond game. They didn't show anything, but I just trust IOI. Okay, I heard about the announcement. Is that fucking it? Is that all the footage after all this time for Silksong? What a joke. Dude, don't say it if you don't fucking mean it. 2025, we've been here before. We were on this stream in 2022 when they showed it and said coming out this year. And now you have only 2 seconds. I don't know, bro. I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to fucking celebrate. However, I do have to say, some people owe me a mother-f***ing apology. Silksong? Oh, I didn't mention it, but I didn't mention it because I didn't want you guys to spam copium for the entire rest of the presentation. I think Silksong gets an announcement in 25. I said it. I think it gets announced. I think they give us a release date in 25. Nah, for real. Don't, you're copying me, but for real. I think they do. I just feel it. I feel like they're there. Interesting, bro. And that's in the prediction stream. No, release date? It's a release date in 25, isn't it? Cope harder, lil bro. Copium on copium. We got the announcement, and I think based on that, it releases this fucking year, but I don't know why. That's the first time They're gonna break their silence with a 2-second. Oh, I'm shocked. I just saw a funny Silksong tweet that was like, hey, it seems like they're kind of rushing it. I hope all the fans know they can take as much time as they need. This shit's been fucking long enough. Get that shit out. Dude, it would be so cosmically, it's not really the same audiences, but it'd be so fucking funny if after all this time they release it like the day before GTA 6 and it gets completely forgotten about. Like, after all this fucking hype, it comes out right before GTA 6 and everyone just fucking buys GTA 8. What if it's mid? This is gonna sound crazy. This is gonna come back to bite me, this clip. I actually think the chances of it being mid are incredibly low. I'm not saying it's gonna be the world's greatest game of all time. I think they have a bar of quality that I think the game will be quite good. Like, even if it's like, you know, what you might call a Hollow Knight DLC, like the same engine structure and just new stuff, that alone to me is a great game. So it's gonna be hard for me to not like it. If I got Hollow Knight but it's, you know, it's 12 new bosses and a new whatever, I'm like, I'm already pogging. If it's a bunch of new things I don't expect, then I'm gonna be over the moon. What if it's woke? Well, as long as they don't have like a female lead character, right? I haven't watched any news on it, but as long as the character's not female, otherwise I'm gonna fucking lose it. I will literally have 17, 18, 19 YouTube clips in a row, insulting the developers, probably doxing them if I can, spamming that, mostly for the money. See, this would be a great intro to a new 3D Pokemon game. And then like a Zubat flies out and goes, and sinks its teeth into a child's neck and blood spurts everywhere. And you look out the window and Arceus is like murdering a field of fucking soldiers. And then people are fucking excited and thrilled because people have grown up with Pokemon. They're grown up now. They're adults. What? That's a sick enemy. What a sick enemy. The Duskbloods? Switch exclusive or nah? That's crazy. 26. Wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, shit! It really is! Okay, I did not expect that. Whoa, what the fuck? Exclusive FromSoft only to Switch 2? Damn, they must have locked down the bag. Imagine it's like an Elden Ring like reskin. They just got the massive bag from Nintendo and then added a vampire skin to an Elden Ring section and then, damn, that's crazy. Okay. What am I looking at? DK! Oh wow, kind of an updated look. Damn, he wears that tie so well. Wait, is it? Oh shit! Environmental destruction? Dude, what if the game ends and it's Donkey Kong and he wakes up in a therapy chair and it's like him confronting his inner demons the whole time within his whole fucking mind, grappling with his own insecurities. I don't know the price exactly. I'm going to guess they went with free. I'm going to guess they went with, we want the people of the world to enjoy our games and we're not worried about making money about it. And so they said, we'll be able to get it for free. Yep. All right, cool. That's what I figured. Nintendo Switch 2 has officially been revealed. And we got a price of $450 for the console, $500 for the Mario Kart bundle. The individual game costs $80 digital, $90 physical. Donkey Kong is $70 digital, $80 physical. Is that correct? Am I getting any of these wrong? The point is the price of the console has gone up pretty significantly. The price of the games has gone up somewhat, both of which I think were above people's expectations. And it's extra bad in other countries where if this holds, based on the exchange rate, they could be paying really fucking high because doing the flat same amount could be playing. Yeah, I think Canada, they're paying like 120 or 130. So obviously a lot of stress, especially as we enter in 25 into like a pretty negative environment for spending, recessionary time. People aren't going to want to spend this fucking much. So I looked into it. I wanted to get an idea of what they should sort of cost. I got this ad from 2005 when games first started costing $60. This is like when Best Buy first started charging $60 for physical Xbox games in 2005. And if you do the inflation math on $60 in 05 to today, these games would have cost $97 at the time. So while I do agree that this is a bit of a sticker shock, inflation is just kind of bad. You know what I'm saying? It's like these prices are annoying and I see why people are mad at them. But for the games, at least, I can see the argument. in that games have only gotten more expensive to make and they've gotten comparatively cheaper. So I think people have an expectation. It remains to be seen whether customers will revolt and not buy them at these prices, but my gut tells me they probably will. Now, that being said, it's worth noting, you know, a game like NBA 2K6 in 2005 was like the full game. But nowadays, you paying full AAA price, but the game is like diced up. And the game has tons of microtransactions. The game has tons of, you know, so there's definitely an argument to be made that you're getting nickel and dimed on top of a larger default purchase price. I also want to say, if you do the math on the console, so $450 today, the Switch launched in 2017 at $299. Now, if you do the inflation math on that, that comes out to $387.50. And they're charging $450. So this main console price is well above inflation. And I want to dive into that. I wanted to understand why they chose to price this so far above inflation. Well, it turns out that Nintendo, much like Sony, has become increasingly afraid of getting tariffed. They've been increasingly afraid of global trade wars. So one thing they did was that they started moving all their production out of China into Vietnam, expecting that US would tariff China. Well, it turns out today, Liberation Day being what it is, there were a bunch of surprise tariffs, including 46% tariff on Vietnam. So Nintendo's multi-month plan, actually multi-year plan, to try and avoid tariffs by getting into Vietnam has actually screwed themselves. Well, I mean, they've been screwed by Trump, to be honest. They didn't screw themselves. There's no way to know because these tariffs are arbitrarily and randomly assigned and they come out of nowhere. But through bad luck, this is a real problem for Nintendo Switch. One thing that I've understood from reading more about this is that very likely Nintendo overpriced this console because they expect tariff costs to rise and they don't want to raise the price of the console. They've essentially what they're saying is if they price it the way they kind of would want to, like if they priced it at, you know, let's say $380 and then the tariff shockingly comes through, which is happening, then they would be losing money on the console or whatever, and they have to raise the price. And if they raise the price, people get extra pissed. So they're kind of starting high and pricing in a tariff, and then can obviously lower it were the tariff to disappear. That's what I think is happening. It also could be general corporate greed. Because again, Nintendo knows there is insane demand for this thing. So by starting high, they could just pretty much keep it high until it stops selling like crazy, which could be forever or could be a long time. I think it's a bit of column A, a bit of column B. But I want to point out, I mean, this article is not even recent. I've been watching this for a while. Nintendo has been trying to get ahead of the trade war. They have been seriously concerned about tariffs and trying to get around it. So I think tariffs are baked into this price, at least somewhat. But I also think that Nintendo understands, and it's worth noting. Now, I mentioned that we possibly are entering a recessionary environment. Certainly consumer spending is slowing down, and certainly people are feeling more of a squeeze in their wallets. However, all the data shows that in recessions, Nintendo shit goes to the moon. People buy this shit more than ever. People buy distraction shit more than they ever would. The Wii f***ing sold like hotcakes in 2009. So I think they're not worried about having to price it low because people don't have it like that. People will just put this shit on Klarna. People are going to put this shit on Afterpay or credit card, or they're just going to f***ing buy this shit.